Good morning and thank you for joining us on Yoga Dharma TV. This morning we'll be joining Veronica, my very practiced student, for a very simple standing posture routine. Okay, so if you have any problems with arthritis, rheumatism, some back problems, this routine's absolutely perfect for you. Okay. It will help tone the legs and tone the tummy, and will also help with breath control greatly. Okay, we're going to be using blocks and possibly bolsters this morning. Now your blocks can be anything that you find around the house, so they can be old cookery books, or your bolsters could be cushions, so you could place a couple of cushions on the floor in front of you, or use a bolster or use blocks. Okay, whatever you have at home is absolutely fine. Okay, I hope you enjoy this little routine. Okay, it's only 15 minutes long, so you should be easily able to fit it into your morning or possibly your evening, but it's great to get you going in the morning standing postures. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Veronica, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to be working a very simple routine this morning, aimed at those that may be suffering a little bit from arthritis, or you just need a gentle warm-up. So we're going to start with some very simple breathing techniques and just starting into Dharma. So bringing your feet together now, Veronica, so that the heels are touching and the ankles are touching and the big toes are touching if possible. If that's not possible, just make it nice and comfortable. Bending your knees very slightly. That's it. And just tucking the tailbone. Now I'd like you to activate the pelvic floor. So that's a bit like holding a wee on a long journey. Zipping up or lifting the lower belly. And then rolling your shoulders up, back and down. Allowing the hands to hang down by your side. Tucking your chin in very slightly and lengthening the back of the head, and that almost feels as though a piece of your hair was being hooked up into the ceiling. So I'm going to ask you now, Veronica, to interlace your fingers, and on your next exhale turn your hands down and push your hands down towards the earth, and breathe in, draw the hands up and overhead. And as you exhale, circle the hands around and down, interlacing the fingers again. Inhale, and then exhale, pushing the hands down. Breathe in, draw the hands up, and then exhale, circle. Breathing in, interlacing the fingers. Exhale, pushing the hands down. Breathing in through the nose, drawing the hands up and overhead. And then exhale, circling. And we'll just do one more, interlacing the fingers. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, hands up overhead. And exhale, circling the hands around and down. And just take your hands to your hips now, please, Veronica. And just step your feet hip distance apart. So we want to be working the four corners of your feet into the mat, activating the arches of the feet. And once more, just work a little routine through the legs, so making sure the knees are slightly bent, the thighs are lifted, pelvic floor active, lower belly active. Now start to roll the shoulders back and down and let your hands rest down by your sides. Start to breathe in and out freely through the nose, so nice deep simple breathing, and allowing the crown of the head to lift once more towards the ceiling. So I'm just going to ask you to breathe in and interlace your fingers again. And as you exhale, push your hands back down to the earth. Breathe in and draw the hands up overhead. And that's lifting the pelvic floor as you breathe in. And as you exhale, really tighten the tummy and take your waist very slightly over towards the right. Well done. Breathing in, coming back to center. And as long as that's feeling comfortable for you, exhale, take the body towards the left. And we'll repeat that one more time each side. Breathing in, coming up to center, and exhale, taking the body to the right. Breathing in, coming back to center, and exhaling, taking the body over towards the left. And then breathing in, coming up to center, just pushing the hands up to the ceiling a little bit more, big stretch, and then exhale, release the hands once more by your sides. We take an in-breath and take the hands up to the hips and turn the left foot in and the right foot out. And the right toes are in line with the right knees. We'll keep the left hand on the hip, and as you exhale, you're going to sweep the right hand down towards the inside of the thigh, the palm facing out. Breathe in, lift the left hand up and overhead. And as you exhale, keeping the eyes facing forward, just slide down the leg a little. Keep the breath nice and deep and even. Breathing into the front and the back of the lungs. Breathe in, come back to center. Release both hands to the hips. And exhale, turn your feet round to the other side. So we take an in-breath, so that's pelvic floor. And as you exhale, we'll release the left hand down, palm facing out. And breathing in, lifting the right hand up. As you exhale, just gently tipping towards that left hand side. Feeling that lovely stretch on the right side of the waist, breathing in underneath the right armpit. And when you're ready, we'll breathe in and come back to center. Exhale, hands on the hips, and just turn your feet to face forward once more. And then step or jump your feet together if you're feeling a little livelier this morning. Well done. Okay, so if that was feeling more than adequate for you, if you were feeling any discomfort in your lower back, then I'd like you to stop with that sequence. If not, we're going to take that a little bit further. So now instead of taking the feet hip distance apart, we're going to take our feet about 2 feet apart. So a little bit wider than they were before. Fantastic. Hands on the hip once more. Turning the left foot in and the right foot out. Again, reaching that right hand down, palm facing out. Breathe in, lift the left hand up and overhead. And as you exhale, ease over towards that right hand side. So we're going to now take awareness to the neck. See how comfortable the neck feels. If it feels really nice and easy this morning, we're going to turn with the chin tucked in to turn towards that left hand. If there's any discomfort, you'll bring your gaze back to center. So it's as though you're falling in love with that left hand. You're taking in all the design of that left palm. Keep the arches of your feet active, the inside of your legs alive, and the kneecaps alive. Breathe in, come back to center. Exhale, hands on the hips. Take an in-breath and exhale, turn the feet. Nice deep in-breath and exhale, release the left hand down and breathe in, bring the right hand up towards the ceiling. And we're going to exhale, tip over towards that left side. Okay, gaze is facing forward still. And again, this side could feel very different. So with the chin tucked in, if you're feeling comfortable, you're going to take an in-breath and turn to look towards that gorgeous right hand. So taking all the patterns of the hand, the design of your wonderful hand, that hand that does so much for you every day. Keeping the awareness to the arches of the feet, the inside of the legs, the kneecaps, the pelvic floor and the abdomen, and the breath is deep and even. As you exhale, look down, breathe in, come back to center. Well done. Take the hands to your hips and turn your feet to face the front. Fantastic. So again, you can breathe in and jump or step your feet together. Veronica's feeling lively today, so she's jumping. Okay, so if that felt fine for you, then we can take that a little bit further. So now it's up to you, but you can take your feet as wide as your finger distance apart, so your arm span apart. Okay? So wherever feels comfortable for you. And if that feels nice and easy, your turn once more, the left foot in and the right foot out. And make sure that right knee is in line with the right big toe. Keep the hands on the hips for the moment. Just tuck the tailbone. Make sure the arches of your feet are active, the inside of the legs, the pelvic floor and the abdomen. Take a nice deep in breath. And as you exhale, start to bend that right knee, and you want the right knee directly over the top of the right ankle. That's perfect, Veronica. Exhale, just release the right hand down onto the thigh, and on your next in-breath, draw the left hand up and overhead. So you can now start to draw the hand right the way over and just lean a little bit into that right hip. Okay? As long as your neck's feeling comfortable today, with the chin tucked in, once more you can turn your gaze to look towards that left palm. The toes are spread, the arches of your feet active, the thighs alive, pelvic floor engaged, lower belly engaged, the breath deep and even, so the rib cage expanding as you breathe in, contracting as you breathe out. And breathing deeply into the armpits. As you exhale, release the hands back to the hips. Breathe in, come back to center. And then we'll just turn our feet round to the other side. So the right foot's turned in now, left foot's turned out. Gaze is forward for the moment, and you're just adjusting the hips again. So tucking the tailbone under. Taking a nice deep in-breath, engage that pelvic floor again, and as you exhale, using the tummy, start to bend that left knee. Dropping the left hand onto the thigh, and then taking a nice deep in-breath and sweeping the right hand up and overhead. So just leaning a little bit towards that left-hand side. Your neck could feel very different this side. So as long as your neck feels free, with the chin tucked in, turning your gaze to look towards the thumb. And once more, taking the gaze of the whole palm in. So every line, every crevice in the hand, every curve, every digit. Activating the arches of the feet, the inside of the legs. Keeping the pelvic floor active, lower belly active. Lifting up out of that left hip. Deepen the breath. Breathing into that right armpit. Breathing in, coming all the way back up to center. And as you exhale, taking the hands to the hips. Okay, so now we may need to use some props. So, Veronica, I'm just going to ask you to lean over to get your blocks, please. And just place the blocks by bending your knees carefully, placing the blocks on the floor just in front of you. Fantastic. So that's a perfect way to bend down and get your blocks and place them back down again. Always important to get your blocks or your props just as safely as all the rest of your yoga postures. Okay, so taking your hands once more onto your hips, Veronica. Take an in-breath, and as you exhale, step your feet about the same distance apart as you had them just now. So your hand distance apart, your arm span apart is as wide as you want to go. Okay, so we're going to keep the toes turned in this time. Activate the arches of your feet and just be aware of a line running from the front to the back of the feet and across the center of the feet through the arches. And you want all four corners of your feet working into the mat. We want the inside of the legs active, and in this one it's especially important not to be locking those knees. So make sure the knees are bent and the thighs are active. Breathing in, lifting the pelvic floor and just rolling the elbows back towards one another. Now Veronica's very flexible, so she's able to do this without the use of blocks. but for most of you at home, I'd like you to use blocks, or you can use books. It doesn't have to be anything special, just a pile of books in front of you will be absolutely fine. So she's going to take an in-breath, and as she exhales, she's going to start to fold forward from her hips. So she's actually folding over her fingertips. Her back remains absolutely flat, as though there's a rod running from the tailbone to the crown of her head. She's lifting the elbows towards the ceiling. She's going to take an in-breath at halfway, and then exhale, release the hands down towards the blocks. Breathe in and look forward, and then exhale, relax the head down, keeping the back absolutely flat, pressing the hands into the blocks, but also making arches with the hands, so lifting almost the wrists slightly away from the floor, the arches of the hands slightly away from the blocks, okay, and lifting her abdomen as much as she can into her waist. Keep lifting the tailbone towards the ceiling as much as possible. And breathing deeply into the back of the lungs, as well as the front of the chest, as well as the side of the ribs. So she's seen how she's feeling today. She's now going to breathe in and look forward. Take the hands once more to the waist. If that's too difficult, to the thighs. She's going to roll back up over her fingertips, and it's as though she's sitting on a chair as she comes down. So she's dropping her bottom back down towards the floor, breathing in, lifting up through her tummy and coming back up. Okay, so she's going to repeat this. This time, if she wishes, she can not use the blocks. So you'll know if your back's absolutely flat. It's very useful if you're using a wardrobe mirror or something like that, so you can just view your mat, but be careful not to twist your neck whilst you do so. So breathe in and look forward again, Veronica. And as you exhale, fold forward, bending those knees as you come down. So she's going to place her hands on the blocks and then slide the hands down the edge of the blocks and just gently shift the blocks in front of her. Okay, place the hands once more down on the mat. Breathe in and look forward. And as she exhales, she's going to start to look through her legs. So the neck is relaxed. The tailbone's active. The inner thighs are engaged. The pelvic floor is active. The lower belly is active. And there's a line running from the big toes towards the outside of the knees, so she's active on the outside of the knees all the way towards the inside of the legs, towards the pubis bone. Now Veronica's going to work a little bit harder than this, only because we know she can. So she's going to breathe in and look forward. Exhale, walk her hands back so her fingertips are in line with the feet. Breathe in and look forward again. And then exhale once more, fold down. So you only do this if you're feeling very confident at home after many weeks of practice that your back is nice and long and flat. Now it's more important how you come out of a yoga posture than how you come into that yoga posture or asana. So Veronica's going to slowly come out now, so she's going to breathe in and look forward. Measure what she's feeling like at the moment. Either take the hands to the inside of the thighs or towards the waist. Pinch the waist very slightly and breathe in slowly, dropping the bottom down, come up to standing. And then she's going to step or jump her feet together for standing. And then exhale, release the hands down by her side, and she's finished her 15 minutes standing sequence for today. Thank you very much, Veronica.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you very much, Veronica, for your wonderful work. This routine should help strengthen and tone your body. As I said earlier, please make sure you do use your blocks. Please make sure you breathe throughout your yoga practice, okay? And when you finish, make sure you drink plenty of water. Eat well. See you soon. Bye.